Gaming is certainly a ubiquitous activity that plenty of us enjoy on a regular, if not daily basis. It's just so relaxing to be able to sit down and lose yourself in a good video game. Despite this enjoyability, however, gaming does have its negative effects. Excessive gaming can lead to things like being too inactive or losing crucial social interactions. Keep watching to learn more about some of the negative effects of excessive gaming. The first negative consequence of gaming we'll discuss is a lack of physical activity. Although some games do involve you standing up and moving around, the vast majority of games are played by sitting down and using either a keyboard or controller. This lack of physical activity can contribute to an overall inactive lifestyle, which, in of itself, comes with a whole new set of issues. Things like muscle atrophy, weight gain, and heart and metabolic disorders can all arise when you're too sedentary. Physical activity is important, so balancing your gaming with time to move around and exercise is vital for your health. The next point goes hand in hand with the previous point. Whether you're in the middle of a long gaming session, reaching for unhealthy and highly processed foods is far easier than getting up and preparing a proper meal. Think about it. Would it be easier to take a break from your game and make some chicken breast, rice, and broccoli, or would it be easier to scarf down an entire bag of Cheetos? Eating overly processed, unhealthy foods poses the same risks as being too inactive, and the two generally occur simultaneously. Along with being physically active, ensuring proper nutrition while gaming is key. Another negative aspect of gaming comes from the lack of social interaction that often comes with it. There are online multiplayer games, yes, but these online games aren't a true substitute for genuine, in-person social interaction. Beyond that, plenty of gamers opt to play video games alone as well and will spend hours grinding in their favorite game. This lack of social interaction is detrimental for overall mental well-being and can result in conditions like depression or anxiety. Social interaction is necessary to develop and maintain social skills and to ensure overall happiness. Now, sleep deprivation. Gaming sessions can go on for long hours. Oftentimes, gamers will stay up very late, potentially all night, playing their favorite video games. Sleep deprivation is linked to several problems, both physical and mental. Obviously, skipping sleep to play video games will lead to excessive tiredness, but losing sleep comes with other issues as well. Missing sleep can cause things like an increased risk for high blood pressure and diabetes, trouble concentrating or focusing, and memory issues. Make sure you get enough sleep, even if killing that final boss is tempting. And then, there's strained eyes. This isn't a problem unique to too much gaming. It applies to people who stare at any screen for too long. Staring for extended periods of time at a screen, whether that be something you're playing a video game on or something you're just watching a YouTube video from, staring at screens for extended times is bad. Doing so can lead to things like eye strain, dry eyes, double vision, or in some instances, headaches. If you're going to be playing video games for an extended amount of time, take breaks to give your eyes a chance to rest. Next is loss of motivation. Social withdrawal isn't the only negative psychological aspect too many video games can cause. Excessive gaming can also lead to an overall loss of motivation. We, as humans, are driven to overcome challenges in what's called the triumph circuit. Whenever we overcome a difficult obstacle, we get hit with a rush of dopamine and want to tackle the next challenge. Video games, however, have given people a far easier way to get this same dopamine rush. Video games can provide the same rush with far less effort on our part. Because of this, people who play a lot of video games can begin to lose motivation to overcome real obstacles when they can overcome obstacles in video games instead. Another problem that can arise from excessive gaming is poor performance in a gamer's academic and professional life. It's incredibly easy to play video games for several hours on end. These hours spent gaming take away focus from hours that could be spent working on an academic work or career building. Studies have shown a link between spending a lot of time playing video games and poor performance in school, and it's not hard to see why. Video games cause you to pay less attention to those important parts of your life in favor of a virtual world. Video games can be a great way to kill time and have some fun. They provide a fun virtual environment to lose yourself in. However, too much gaming comes with plenty of risks that you have to be aware of. Things like neglecting work, poor physical health, and poor mental health can all come from too many games. There's still more things that can happen when you spend too much time gaming though, so be sure to keep watching. Next, issues with relationships. Just like neglecting work, another thing people will often neglect when they spend too long playing video games is relationships. Relationships need to be worked on to maintain or improve them. However, when you spend most of your time gaming, then you won't have time left over to develop relationships with others. This, just like socially withdrawing yourself, can cause several different mental issues. A balance can be struck, and gaming with your friends and family can certainly improve relationships, but moderation is important. And now, stress injuries. Although playing video games doesn't typically involve the full body, it utilizes the hands a lot. Unfortunately, this repetitive use of hands has led to stress injuries being common among gamers. Some of the most common injuries include things like carpal tunnel syndrome, gamer's thumb, trigger fingers, and tennis elbow. These can all lead to pain, and continuing to play video games will only aggravate aggravate the issue. If you're playing games for extended periods of time, you should take frequent breaks to give your wrists and hands and the rest of your body a needed break. Next, dopamine desensitization. Dopamine is a well-known hormone that's released whenever we do something that's rewarding. Playing video games is a perfect example of this. Whenever we sit down and begin to game, the brain begins to release dopamine. This dopamine continues to be released as the gaming session continues. Over time, this constant supply of dopamine will lead to a tolerance. To achieve the same feeling of enjoyment, more and more dopamine is necessary. All of this will eventually lead to dopamine desensitization, where anything not as exciting as video games will become dull and boring. This also creates a lack of motivation, as your brain will only seek out activities that produce an abundance of dopamine. We now have the reliance on escapism. Video games are fun and provide people with a chance to forget about their issues for a while in favor of a digital environment. There's nothing wrong with enjoying escapism from time to time. However, an issue does arise when you begin relying on escapism instead of facing difficulties in your life head-on. Video games can, in excess, become a hindrance to solving problems. If you're facing difficulties in life, enjoying video games to help distract you is fine. You just need to avoid letting them become your main focus instead of working and fixing your problems. The next topic we'll be covering is the sometimes toxic environments people encounter during online gaming. The anonymity of online gaming leads people to do a lot of things they wouldn't do in normal face-to-face encounters. Being overly toxic is one of these things. Competitive games, like Call of Duty, are especially notorious for this. If you're already struggling with mental health issues, these offensive and unhealthy environments can further worsen your condition. Now, issues with regulating emotions. Excessive gaming is already linked to negative emotions and mental disorders, like depression or anxiety. However, another potential drawback of playing video games is their ability to cause issues with regulating your emotions. Since video games are seen as a means of escapism, a lot of gamers will turn to video games whenever they experience some sort of negative emotion. This reliance on escapism, though, can lead to gamers having difficulty regulating and understanding their emotions. They may suppress their emotions or simply be unable to understand them. Gaming, in moderation, has been shown to improve emotional health. In excess, however, it's linked to emotional problems. And now, musculoskeletal issues. The last downside to excessive gaming we'll be covering is its potential impact on posture and the musculoskeletal system. The issue isn't specific to gamers, but anyone who sits and stares at a screen for prolonged periods of time. When the body is in a single position for extended periods of time, it'll find the most energy-efficient position. Sometimes, this leads to being hunched over with your head tilting forwards. Holding this position for extended periods of time is terrible for posture. Things like rounded shoulders, neck, and lower back pain, and a tilted head are common among long-term gamers. Playing video games is a fun activity that's been shown to have some benefits. From simply providing an escape to improving emotional health, gaming in moderation is good. However, people often take this too far and spend several hours a day playing video games. This can lead to several issues, both physical and mental. So what do you think? Are you a gamer? Be sure to like the video, comment down below, and subscribe. Thank you for watching.